Cool. I went ahead and set the stream live. Let some people trickle in.
Okay, we have 36, so as always, we'll wait until we have 33 more to start.
I have a fun little story. Yesterday was my birthday, and some awesome Ohmi out there, I have no idea who it is, sent me 33 Ohm.
No, that's that's significant enough.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So very, very generous, and I have no idea who to thank.
Capture
So
not registered.
thank you to the anon out there that sent it to me.
Do you have a public ENS or something?
Yeah, it's the same as my name in here. So.
Okay. Let's wait a few more seconds. Let's see. We have 7 more people to join. One more. Okay. In the meantime, if you have any question, please go to the chat above to ask your questions, and we can start answering them. Oh, people are dropping now. Okay. Yes, I'm back. It's such a surprise. I was cycling up a mountain last week, so I wasn't available. Is Zeus actually Jewish? I thought it was Greek. He's Greek. Okay, let's start.
Audio capture not registered.
So first of all, happy birthday, Drew. But it's late, but happy to hear that you got a birthday present from Manomi. That's cool to hear.
Thank you.
And then for everyone, thank you for joining here. Again, it's a bit of a weird time in the crypto industry. I think a lot of people that are new since this cycle haven't really seen a bear market or a market where it's a bit stagnant or like it's not just up only and positive news and kumbaya. But it's cool to see that Olympus keeps on basically buffling through it, with full force. As always, I think we're performing extremely well, especially with the inverse bonds. On top of it, we have also a few new things that we've done over the last couple of weeks, which further cements our place within DeFi, which also will ensure sufficient liquidity across all markets. For example, the balancer pool, which we now have running. We have a convex, we have a curve pool as well, where we are forming the convex and etc. So that's also kind of cool to see, and a lot of partnerships still in the pipeline. I think we've talked about Faye already before. We've also some other ones today. We, for example, had the Prime DAO announcement as well. We have others that Utopia Labs we're working on, which is also still that those partnerships across the industry, which are very important. The range stability. The screenshot has been leaked, like the blurred image on Twitter. Go look at that if
audio
you
capture
like to
not
see some blurry
registered.
images. But that's of course being developed, right? Like the contract is ready, but it's about to be audited. We're working now on the front end. Like it's not just about the contract; it's also about making it like usable and actually very easy to understand for normal people, not just for people that are really into these papers that we're releasing. And we're keep on making things one by one a bit better within the DAO as well, like streamlining how we work, narrowing the focus on what we're doing, and I hope that can be noticed in the content that comes out of the DAO and the initiatives that come out of the DAO. So if you have any questions, as always, please ask them here in the chat. And if you want to come on stage, please put up your hand. We'll try to answer them as much as possible. If any people from the DAO are here, please feel free to also come on stage. Like see Abby here, for example. Feel free to also give maybe an update on the inverse bonds and so on, for as long as your mic works. And other than that, like we can just riff as we usually do, right? Okay, let's see if there are questions. I will not take trips anymore on Thursdays. That's good. How can we make a custom address? You buy an ENS, sir. Let's see. Anything else? Not really a lot of things. Yeah, we burned quite a lot of ohm a couple of hours ago. This is all the ohm that we, for example, buy through inverse bonds. I think Seuss put out a tweet a while back. Let me pull it up here. Basically detailing how much percentage of supply had been burned. And so 6.4% of circulating supply was bought back with inverse bonds, which is cool. Like 6.4% basically got bought back. We of course took a bit of a not profit, but like margin on that, right? Which went through to all ohm holders, and sometimes even some days we were deflationary, so that was kind of cool to see. Okay, so Abby is typing also in chat. So they learned that the new bond market is launched a few hours ago, supporting ohm. So please check that out. If someone else from the policy team is here, then maybe can explain it. Because as I said, I was out last week. Let's see, I don't see anyone. But yeah, it's fine. Oh, yeah, Podot is here. You changed your name so often.
Yeah, I changed. Yeah.
Hi.
There's lots of things that are put into pots. So.
Okay. Can you maybe explain it a bit? Like what was introduced? Why was it introduced? What is the goal of it? That sort of stuff.
For inverse bonds, you mean?
Abby just put in chat that indeed new bonds were launched to support ohm during the recent dump that were launched a few hours ago.
Yeah, we actually saw like decreased selling from last time we launched them, which is really good. Like there's still an outflow every day. I think we're getting pretty close to being able to actually release the framework that we've been using. But like we're like in terms of our budget, we're kind of committing up to
not registered.
Twice the amount of money we need to spend to get to our like the current 120-day moving average over the next 50 days or so, which is still quite a bit. Yeah, we've seen a decrease in sell pressure since last week, or what we would call like outflows. So we still have people leaving the protocol. I mean, people leaving crypto in general, right? But it certainly decreased from last week, which is really nice. At least from the last market. So,
Okay, that's good to hear.
It didn't change very much. It's pretty similar to what we saw last week.
Yeah. Okay, and then maybe a bit of comment on the burning. Like I know, for example, internally, there's also some debate, and I think it's good to also maybe the question on burning versus not burning. Why was the decision taken? What are the benefits? What maybe are some drawbacks? Can you enlighten us on the policy team's thinking there?
Yeah, I think the idea is just people have raised enough questions about whether burning is something that is good from like a number of different perspectives, including like, I mean, everything goes through a security perspective, right? Like making sure that it doesn't give the appearance of behaving like a security. I'm personally in favor of not burning, but like still having some guidelines for what it means for it to be taken out of circulation. I don't like the idea of like that we sell this ohm and then we can just kind of do whatever, or buy back this ohm and then we do whatever we want with it. So I feel like that's kind of something that might be proposed in the near future.
SWB audio
because like it doesn't really
not
matter whether we burn it or not. If it's taken out of circulation and we have clear guidelines about what can be done with it, then it doesn't matter whether it's burned or not. Like if we use the ohm that was bought back and sell it within range stability, or sell it when it's way above the moving average, and that's the only thing we can do with it, then like who cares whether it's burned or not, right?
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And like a very important question asked here in the chat: is burning ohm bad for the atmosphere and the environment? And are we compensating this with klima?
I think we more than offset the amount of energy that we've used. But yeah, burning ohm is technically a little bad for the atmosphere.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Thank you for enlightening that for us. Anything else that policy team is looking at, like or monitoring closely? For example, I'm thinking of like we briefly saw a bit of a premium again. I think a couple of over a couple of days. For people that maybe are new here or have missed a couple of these calls, inverse bonds are not just ran when we are under liquid backing or backing or whatever metric. It is ran basically when the policy team thinks that when is it ran? Maybe you can explain that better. Like what is the decision method you use when saying, okay, now we're going to maybe increase capacity, or maybe we can decrease it, stop inverse bonds? Like how do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean the goal is to get to the 120-day moving average without buying so much that it leads to people dumping the token, right? What you don't want is to have a God candle, like a green God candle, and everyone's like, well, this is where I get out. But like a reasonable amount of growth. And when we created the OIP, we kind of said like 90 days is our kind of completion time for trying to do this. Soft upward pressure. The goal is kind of this like 90 days where we have 50 left. We're getting close to being about halfway through. So we're kind of saying like what's the current 120-day moving average, which was like $34 or something last time we took a look at it. And we're saying like we have 50 days to run it. How much do we need to spend based on our current liquidity levels to get to that number? And then we just divide it by the number of days. We're spending more than that because we're having to fight sell pressure as well. But that's kind of like the target. We want to say like, okay, well, we're going to try to overcome a certain amount of sell pressure plus put additional pressure to try to get to that 120-day moving average.
Okay.
Yeah, like Yeah, I mean, I see someone complaining that the 120 moving average is dropping. Like there's the amount of money that we would have to spend to get to, it was like $108 when we first started. We were never planning to get to that number. I realize that it can be read any way that someone wants to read it. We were never planning to get to that number. We were hoping that it would be higher than what we're at now. Like, I don't, we're telling people that there's a ton of buybacks every day and they're still selling, and there's nothing we can do about that. But the amount of money that we'd have to dedicate to get to $38 or $34 tomorrow, it's like between $8 and $10 million.
Audio capture not registered.
And we could spend that tomorrow, and then it would reduce backing by a lot. Like we'd have to spend treasury money to do that, quite a bit above the backing level, which means that we're selling a lot of the value that you have backing your token. And then that, a pump of that magnitude, people will sell, right? Because especially people that have bought recently, and we don't want to do that. We want like a nice slow growth. Like relative to the whole market, the fact that we're doing so well is even just keeping price steady is probably leading to some exits as well, as people see like these other protocols that have dumped 95% can look like good buying opportunities next to Ohm. So even just keeping the price steady still lends itself to people potentially selling. So we have to be very careful.
Okay, that's very, very well said. Okay, so maybe also I'm thinking about, we have now these inverse bonds that are running. I see sometimes people in the chat saying this is profit, right? But I know that we have we really try not to say that. For example, in the dashboards, it's called margin. Like, how should people see the delta between backing and what we buy the Ohm for, and like maybe even the surplus that we have, right? How should people look at that? Like, is it maybe also spending a bit to create stability? If, for example, we were at 20 and the backing is at 19, like how should people put it in their heads that these expenses, which they basically are, or maybe
SWB audio
operations
capture,
are
not registered.
Get this question?
Yeah. No, I think like we have the chart showing the kind of the spread between backing and what we paid for it. The fact that we're getting that Ohm back, like we're moving it from circulating supply, and that the difference between what we paid for it and what it's worth is technically distributed among everyone else that remains holding. One of the ways to look at things is that, we were planning to spend in a way that didn't hurt backing very much, right? Being a little bit above backing. But the fact that there was a period of time where we spent probably, $5 million, well, like pretty substantially below backing, kind of means that we've amassed a bit of a treasure chest you can call it profit or whatever, but basically like we were able to sell Ohm for less than buy Ohm for less than its backing, to the point where I think the margin's $4 million or something like that. You can think of that as a budget that we can spend now on buying slightly above backing, and we're so very slightly above backing that it really won't hurt very much to continue doing these inverse bonds. A way to look at inverse bonds in general, in terms of like the margin level, is that the higher the margin gets, the faster money would run out in terms of your backing per Ohm. So if there's a really high margin, or if there's really, I shouldn't say margin, there's a point where we're below backing, where buying Ohm increases backing for all remaining
SWB audio capture,
members or
not
holders.
registered.
And there's a point of buying above backing, where it lowers the backing per ohm for anyone that remains holding. And as long as that's not very much, you won't actually notice it very much. And in response could continue nearly indefinitely. Whereas if it was, if the margin was, if we were doing buybacks for double what it's worth, you would really accelerate the drop in backing per ohm. And what that means really is that if we're below backing, we can buy back every single ohm with the treasury funds, and the price would be above where it is today. And if we're below that, we couldn't continue buybacks indefinitely. Like if we're not capturing that that margin, it'll just kind of accelerate to where price we wouldn't be able to continue to do buybacks forever. There'd be a point where money ran out.
Okay. And in what aspect is stability important for you? Like, I think often, like we talked a bit about this, the child phase for Ohm. We're now in the teenage phase, right? And we're going to become an adult in maybe a few months or years. But like, we want to be a store of value, right? But for that to be, there should also be a bit of stability. Is it stability something that the policy team is already taking into account as a factor to come to like a bit more of a stable own price, or is that something where you say, look, this is something that we can't really control yet, maybe until we have that range stability, right? And with inverse bonds, we can maybe dampen a bit of the swings, but it's not the main part of the mission now.
Yeah, it's really like
SWB
I mean, we've already seen it a
capture,
ton on like,
not registered.
crypto Twitter as well. Like people recognizing that, like this narrative that Ohm is a good alternative to stablecoins. That depending on regulation and depending on inflation, like having a good alternative that isn't tied to the US dollar is great. And part of what we need to do that is to have reasonable volatility. I watch the chat sometimes, and you see people that get potentially a little too hung up on the idea of the range stability, where they think that it's going to kind of like force Ohm to be, $20 forever. But the amount of volatility that we're trying to control is pretty wide, right? Like, I think the kind of what Zeus proposed when he started talking about range stability was like a 25% buffer before like cushions even kick in, right? So that leaves itself to quite a bit of volatility. You want something that's like volatile enough to have price discovery, to have increasing value, but you don't want it to be so volatile that someone's afraid to hold it, and you don't want rapid. It's it's how rapidly it can change in value that you really want to control as well.
So basically, what you describe here is a bit like Bitcoin, right? Or like ETH, but to a lesser extent, where if there's one crypto asset that you buy where you can like sleep on your two ears and think, okay, this might go down a bit or up a bit, but relatively my value will be the same right now as in 5 years, or hopefully a bit more. That's also a bit what that range stability will have. It will not be just a fixed price or a fixed point, but it will be more or less like something that you can rely on, that it stays
registered.
a bit within a certain range that is relatively wide, but still it's not times 500 or minus 95%, right?
I think long term that's the goal. Range stability isn't going to be able to control it that much. Like over the course of a year, it's going to be like fairly substantial. One of the ways I've kind of you can look at it is you can say that like if our top cushion is 25% above the 120-day moving average, it means that in 120 days, the top of that will be the new middle of the moving average if it stayed at that price every single day. Right? So you say like, okay, well, price can go up 25% over 120 days, and it can actually do more than that because it'll, that cushion will be moving up as the price moves up. What did
Yep.
so it go ahead.
No, that's true. And also all the way around, right? Like,
Yep.
a question I often get from big investors, funds, is ask, okay, what in a Luna event, right? That's you have a lot of people selling, and there may or may not be parties that are just trying to break you for whatever reason that may be. The thing is that it's softly packed, right? Like, it's not packed. It's softly packed, where it can break through that wall, and that's fine. And then we just find a new equilibrium again, and we start over, right?
And it takes a lot of once again, it takes a lot more than people think that it does. Like, it's not just moving suddenly through a cushion and wall. Like, just to get to the bottom of just to get to the cushion, it has to drop 25% of value. Then it has to make its way through the cushion. Then it has to make its way through the wall. That's not even including like
SWB
vault
audio
strategies
capture not
that
registered.
move with the wall, right? That's not including any other tools that we add. It'll take quite a bit of work to get through one of those walls, and not that it can't. The other thing to keep in mind is that like it also gives you a lot of time to choose how you want to react as well. It won't be like a sudden crash.
Yep.
I mean, more than anything, like all of this is on chain. Like if there's a vault strategy that is a wall defender strategy, I mean, which is kind of like I think what I would invest in. If that has $1 billion in it, then people are gonna like consider that pretty meaningful in terms of defending the wall.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair.
Yeah, but I guess my larger point is
Sure.
I guess that like long term, well, like over a couple of years, the price of Ohm can change fairly substantially. The long term goal is to build up enough liquidity that is really hard for it to move price very much, and for it to be used by enough treasuries and protocols and all sorts of other stuff that there won't be a huge amount of trading volume. And then once we get to Ohm bonds, even more of it will be locked. But like in the short term, the goal is just to make it so that people can buy it and have some expectations about how its value might change over time. Where hopefully we won't see the same volatility that we saw in the fall of last year, or spring if you're in the southern hemisphere.
Well, it was always a fall, right? So, no, and I know that some policy members
SWB
or
audio
team
capture
DAO members
not
have
registered.
taken it upon themselves to really model this out and do like simulations in Python and whatever. How is that going?
Yeah, they showed us all of it today. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
Like we're kind of picking a couple things to optimize first, and then people are just starting to dig into the data.
But maybe like talk a bit about like what has been done. I think it's cool also to just talk about the process and not just the findings, right? Like that really people are taking this very, very seriously to model it out completely, I think.
Yeah, if there's anyone else here, like I'm looking to see who else is here. If there's anyone else here that's more close to it, let me know. But really, like I think there's 7 main variables that are being tweaked. And so they are, to start with, there are that many permutations, right? Every combination of those 7 items. And then on top of that, they're running, for each of those combinations, 1,000 different seeds to determine kind of like market conditions for each day. So like it's basically a Monte Carlo situation. But so you end up with each of those seeds are used by each of the permutations. So you end up with quite a lot of simulation runs, and each simulation run takes place over a year. And data from each day is aggregated and logged. So you can look at like the overall results of each combination of attributes and seeds. But then you can also take that combination and you can dig into the daily activities for that simulation. So you can see where it like broke into cushions. You can see where it broke into walls. You can see whether it got through a wall. All that stuff. It's pretty
SWB
cool.
audio capture not registered.
Okay, no, cool to see. And then based upon that information, some certain variables can be set within ranges, or at least we can know what to experiment with initially when we do like a safe guarded launch or something.
Yeah, like one of the interesting things. So you can say like like how far the cushions are, how far the walls are, what budget there is in each of those. The cushions and the walls, how long the moving average is, right? So like an example of that is, let's say that it's like one of the proposed sizes of the budget sizes for the walls is like 10% of the treasury, right? Or like 15% of the supply, depending on what side you're on. If you were to increase that number a lot to 90% of the treasury, it's pretty easy to see that one market dump would drain most of the treasury. So that's where like that variable, if you try to optimize for not draining the treasury, you're probably going to end up with 8% of the reserves that aren't that high. And then you have to weigh it against other variables. And then it's just which combination of things are you happier with?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Questions: when wall dashboard going live? When we have wall, sir. That's not.
I think I
that's
answered
not for
it.
now. So
I think I answered
Yeah.
this morning, and it was when it's ready.
yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. So we have then basically people working on that. We have range stability. We have inverse
SWB
bonds.
audio capture not registered.
Is there anything like else that you're looking at as a policy team? For example, in a situation, say that I don't know, Nancy Pelosi says that she loves Bitcoin and she loves Ohm and she wants everyone to own it, and Ohm goes times 10 or something. Or are we also looking at, okay, if that situation comes where there is a bull market again, which bonds are we going to run and so on? Is that something that is being discussed or anything else?
Not policy-wide for sure.
Okay, good. But okay, that's good that there's at least some focus, right? Cool. And what is your expectation, just in general, for like Ohm, like your personal opinion, like Ohm in the current markets, like compared maybe to some other assets that people have been looking at? I know that, for example, now that all the convex of the world, all the governance tokens of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be quite some pressure on those. Yeah, how do you see Ohm's place now in these volatile times? And who do you think that would benefit from buying Ohm here or being an Ohmie at this point in time?
Something that I like to look at is kind of the total amount of money in crypto.
Okay.
And there's some good charts that even like exclude Bitcoin if you don't really consider that part of the whole system. But it's like it depends on whether you want to invest or not. People yelling in the background. 1 second. I mean, if you want to hold U.S. dollar coins and make 1% on those, that's fine. If you want to invest, I do think that you have to be aware that like
capture not registered.
you need to take the entirety of the crypto market into consideration. If people are bullish on crypto, then they're going to be bullish on crypto, and that's going to affect Ohm. If people are bearish on crypto, then they're going to be bearish on crypto, and that's going to sell Ohm. Or and they're going to sell Ohm. And there's not much to do about that. And you see this in like every protocol. Like you could say like, why is everything so correlated? But then you can look at a chart and you can see it go from, was it like it dropped from like 25% of the money in crypto that we saw in the high from last year. and that's gonna affect stuff. Like that's why I would look at investing. I think there is like a temptation to focus on a specific token, and get upset at a specific token. But I think you need to be aware that like there are people that are just like think that they're bullish on crypto or they're bearish on crypto, that are coming and going over time.
Yeah, and like some of the advice that I really also want to give some people here that might be new to this or haven't been around for a long time. Like the noise that you see, especially not only around OHM but in general on Twitter and like all these platforms that you might look at, and some people even YouTube nowadays. I think if you yourself just keep on being up to date with stuff and not panic too much, not sell bottoms every time. And be active, like being in these calls. Maybe try some new projects. Be curious. Don't be afraid to, for example, buy a step and sneaker and burn yourself like I did. Then you will always survive these times, and especially if you then in like projects that are very cautious and take the right steps. I think like we are trying to do, then you're already on the right track, right?
I think if people are trying to take
SWB audio
low risk
capture
investments, I don't know
not
what they're doing here.
registered.
Indeed. Funding other projects, shaking my head. We're not funding projects, sir. Or should only fund OHM. Yeah, I see some OHMies purposely funding OHM on Twitter, and I find it very funny. Like, where is Zeus? That one really had me riled up. Yeah, exactly. Where is he? Like, where is he? Did he take all his money and go away? Come on, guys. Like, no, cool. Good. Other things like maybe what we have been doing as well. I think we have seen some interesting things from our partners. Like Redacted launched Brex yesterday. I think that's a cool thing to look at if you want to have your convex liquid. As I said, what we are now doing, we have been bribing for like a long time, but of course bribes have dried up a bit as well. So what we are doing basically is we are feedback looping our convex now. So we have a small OHM ETH pool now on Curve, for which we have a convex gauge, and then we are basically vote for that with our full 850k convex that we have, which is cool to see. There's like at 100% APY or something on it, on the funds that we have deposited there. So basically, we incentivize our own liquidity. We form convex that way. It's a win-win for everyone. It's cool. We have a balancer pool as well up. I think it's 50% on 5% DAI, 25% ETH. Don't quote me on that, but especially with balancer, you might expect to have some catalyst there with Aura that is going to launch as well in the near future. If you haven't checked yet, if you will have a airdrop of Aura, please go check their Twitter. But it's quite nice to see. It's from
SWB audio
a friend of the
capture
project,
not registered.
Maki, that is building that. So there we also have a pool. We are looking to maybe also deploy a bit more efficiently our liquidity. I think that's very important because SushiSwap for a long time has been our primary source, but it's good to be not dependent on one, right? And also look at maybe more interesting opportunities. On that front, we are still very liquid. This week I did an analysis of like the liquidity that we have compared to other projects around us. Like I think we have a very liquid market on which we still earn fees, right? Like a lot of protocols around us. We are now, I think, 124th in the ranking, but a lot of protocols around us, like they're all mainly traded on centralized exchanges where market makers take the fees, and we still own for full liquidity. Every single day we get the fees that are being traded there. It's just a cool thing to see. I think that's protocol owned liquidity is definitely what made us so strong for the past year, and it continues to do so. Let's see. When Atlantis.
Liquidity stuff's really fun right now because we're technically getting OHM out of it, which is super bullish because OHM is undervalued.
Exactly. Whartle own liquidity. Yeah, sir. I think I own a lot of own liquidity there. Let's see. When Atlantis is still being worked on, so it's still in the pipeline. It especially like when you're launching AMM, you need to make sure that you have the right market conditions. It's like throwing a birthday party when everyone is on vacation. You don't do that, right? You wait until everyone is back. So it's the same thing there. So wait until there's some momentum again and launch it. Just in the meantime, like there's no rush for it now, right? Volume is quite low, or for example, the volume now for Ohm is being diverted into inverse bonds as well. So it's not needed at this moment, but it's the team is still working on that. It's not a DAO project, by the way, right? So we just talked to them, but yeah. Let's see. Who's muted? Double muted. Oh, it's the guy. Integrations with Frag's base pool in plans. I do not have any information on that. If someone from the partnerships team is here or Chala, they can maybe speak on that. I see Tex in the audience as well. Tex, if you are in a place where you can talk, maybe it would be good to also give like a small recap on how OP has been doing. It might be cool for the peeps here. If not, it's fine. If people have questions, please put up your hand as well. Always happy to talk to you on stage. Why is Walter not working? Yeah, that's what I'm asking myself as well. I'm from lazy as fuck. Do you know the city of Huy, Belgium? Yes, it has a very big, I want to say very big climb, but for Belgium terms, it's a big climb. It's a nice one. Let's see. Calm down, FBI. Yeah, well, as long as we're not insider trading, everything is fine, right? Like, how much did that guy make from OpenSea? It was like a low six figures. It's yeah, Jesus Christ, 20 ETH, Jesus, 40 years in prison. That's why they call it the land of the free and the home of the brave, right? Not so free, but certainly brave if you live in America and you own crypto. Definitely, I've tried Stella Unfiltered. Let's see, 1 year of prison per ETH. Shit. Now the Sifu. Yeah, well, Sifu is Canadian, right? So he probably just has to say sorry, and he's off with the charge. Come and take it. Yeah. I don't want to take your ETH, Socrates. I think I'd be shot. Let's see. Anything else interesting happening? Yeah, there's Optimism, of course, that launched. We don't really have that much exposure there. Our partners too. I think we have OP there, right? But other than that, yeah, we always will see a bit how these changes go. We had about a couple of months ago quite a big multi-chain strategy, but now we really try to as I said, refocus our energy on where it really matters. Not just have a shotgun approach, but really, for example, do it on Arbitrum, which clearly Arbitrum as an L2 is doing very well, especially on DeFi. So there we are focusing a bit on that. We also have some integrations there. I think Avalanche recently saw, we see that Avalanche is dead. Basically, our friend Danny was the only one building on it, and it's not really going anywhere. Hopefully, like as I said, Optimism, like these L2s on Ethereum, they seem to be the best bets, and we keep a close eye on that to see if we can leverage that as well. Any questions? When adding time to treasury? Yeah, I think we have some time in our treasury. I think we do. Not a lot though. People are putting the coffee pasta in. Very nice, guys. Very nice. Okay. What happened to the O2 project? O2 project? Can someone
SWB audio capture not registered.
Walter, when will Ohm remove the pack from my backing? Sir, I'll come and get it out of there ASAP. O2 Treasury. time rebases. Jesus, what is this? It seems horrible. Is it like an index fund of Ohm forks or something? Walter, it's reading on the questions that you are naming it. Sorry, man. Yes, Omert. That's a good one. So we have a small announcement to make now for the people that have been listening to me for 45 minutes straight. I think you should be rewarded with something. So for the ones that have been sticking around for a while, you know the concept of FOMO. So FOMO is fear of missing Ohm, right? No. And like FOMO was a concept that we launched first time 1 month after the launch, I think in April 2021, and then every 2-3 months we did a FOMO. Recently, due to market conditions, we haven't done it, but we are going to come back with a new FOMO 5, on the 17th of June. So the 17th of June, we will have 1 day. We will announce the time. We will announce the schedule, what we're going to do, the speakers, that sort of stuff. But basically, for the ones that haven't been around for the previous FOMOs, it's basically a celebration of being an OMI. We'll give you some alpha around the protocol. We have some speakers, some of our partners speaking. It's just like nice time together in this Discord. We'll have a party as well afterwards with some music. Yeah. Like previous FOMOs, in my experience, the FOMOs that we've had before, that were the best moments that I ever had on Discord period. And I think the 17th of June will replicate the FOMOs of all time. So hope to see you all there. And as said, we will communicate more info soon. If you have any suggestions of nice events, speakers, if you want to do something cool, if you want to paint yourself full of Ohm logos and go stand on the Acropolis in Greece and get some Ohm for it, DM me. I'll do that as well. And maybe spam already something on Twitter. We can do that as well. Yeah, the FOMO 4 wasn't the greatest. Let's see. Poker tournament with Treasury as prize pool. Yes, we'll do that. Well, the last FOMO we had like a very good DJ, like what was the DJ's name again? Please help me. He was like an international DJ, famous guy. Yeah, no, not SMD. It's a shame that I don't know his name anymore. Okay. Any more questions, remarks? We're kind of busy migrating or something. Yes. And then the poker tournament also migrated. I don't know if you can remember that. Like we ran a poker tournament with 200 people, I think, and then the website went down. So. Okay, in the meantime, I'm like catfishing a catfish in my Discord DMs. That's like my favorite pastime now. Okay. This one, please. What's your best guess on Dana for activating internal bonds and also for... okay. Potted, this one is maybe for you. Like internal bonds, do you have an update on that?
It's being worked on.
It's being worked on. And on-chain governance, same thing. Like we have a team, I think 2 devs now are working on this, on-chain governance. We are not just going to introduce on-chain governance, you need to do it in a smart way. Also with the right incentives. So it's not just we are going to execute stuff on-chain and like, just everyone that holds Ohm can do it. It needs to be smart, but like there, since I think already end of March, beginning of April, our smartest people are working on that. We even brought in some consultants for this, like not consultants, like of EY or dealer or something, but like people that have worked on this for other DAOs in the past and have been thinking, like are really thought leaders on this. So it's gonna be cool. Like the on-chain governance thing is I think a hidden gem within where a lot of people think of on-chain governance as something that is basically a hurdle. It can also be a feature, and we're definitely going to make it a feature. define work, literally like work. Like I saw one of our devs write on literally a window with a marker for half an hour to to just think about how it should work, and then he started coding it, and then again went to the window. Like that's even though we had a whiteboard, it was crazy. School vacation about to start, or devs gonna have more time now. This exactly, like people forget this, but 12 years old, you need to still go to school in some countries. That's why we're now hiring in Asia and Africa mostly our devs. They can already work from that age during the day. We're writing on Windows. yeah, we don't have Macs, you know. Okay, I'm blabbering too much. If someday like I'm getting arrested and the community calls are getting
SWB
getting
audio
played in the
captured,
courtrooms,
not
people are going
registered.
to be like, this guy definitely needs to get lifetime jail. Okay, let's see. Okay. Let's see. They'll love it. Yeah, indeed. I'll become like a cult figure like Johnny Depp and get 15 million from Sifu, who will be suing me. Refund Zeus $100 for the whiteboard. Yeah. Don't think he paid for it. It was a very shitty whiteboard. But yeah. Amber Heard is a big fan. Send voucher to OIP99, yeah. Please don't. Okay, please ask any more questions. We have a couple of minutes. If not, we can close early, of course. Happy to just talk. I know a lot of you people just listen to this falling asleep with my ASMR voice. So, will you be at Lisbon? Eat Lisbon? Or I'm actually thinking of going to Lisbon end of the month just to work, because the weather here is not that nice. And just look if this guy's still talking. Yes. Did people have queues on the treasury adding FDT ETH liquidity? No, I don't think so. John Connor did. Maybe Abby, if you could comment on that or put it like the FDT ETH liquidity that was added. Why was it done? What's the benefits?
SWB
When is
audio
FDT going
captured,
to Moon?
not registered.
Yeah, it's just proposing doing it, or like it wasn't even proposing it. It's just doing a temperature check this morning.
Okay. FDT ETH. No, just in general, I think we are one of the largest fiat DAO holders as well. Their product is live. For the people that don't know, fiat DAO basically allows you to mint stables against a fixed yield, a fixed interest bearing asset. So, for example, Element, Notional. You can mint fiat against it. That fiat you can exchange again for stables, take out a new position. Like you can basically loop it to get very attractive APYs on stables. And they've been a partner for a while. They've been an OP partner. They have we have done a DAO swap with them. They're live, but basically they're struggling a little bit with liquidity, and we could definitely help out there. And I think that's what Abby is referring to, right?
Yeah, they actually are. I mean, they help us with all sorts of like. If we have questions about things that they would know or be an expert on, they're constantly assisting us as well. Like they're really good partners of ours.
Yeah, they're big brains. Yeah, as we like to say.
Yeah, there's more information on the policy channel. I don't think it would. I mean, it would be putting our FTT to work, but I don't think there would actually be much of an ETH requirement.
No, especially since like the pool on Balancer that they would like to have it on is 80% FTT, 20% ETH, which also benefits. I think that's a big part of it as well. And also there, it has quite an attractive APR, I think of 80% or something. So, no, 110%. Oh, that's crazy. It's not really about ET. No, but like in general, like we provide liquidity,
audio
and if you get
capture
something extra
not
to it,
registered.
why not, right?
Win-win-win. Yep.
Win-win. Sophisticated investors. So in the past, you see, someone mentioned that almost not designed for the average investors. So then why who is this protocol designed for? Sophisticated investors. Like an average investor wants to have a quick 100x, right? I think. Like the people that came into crypto in the past months, they won't find Ohm again because they like the APY is not 200k anymore. Like this is not going to moon again to 4 billion within the next week or something, right? But this is indeed more for people that would like to have that store of value that has an inflation schedule not a schedule, not but inflation targets that are still quite attractive. That has a very big treasury that serves as a bit of a force against markets, as we see with inverse bonds. It has a proven track record. Like we are a protocol that basically never has been like hacked or something, right? Like for a DeFi protocol over 1 year old, I think not a lot can say that. With a team that is still very active, with a DAO that like basically we were one of the projects that really pioneered the DAOs, in my opinion, especially in the way that we are doing it now, and also with a big reach and network within the industry. I think those things are basically why you would come to Ohm right now. If we deflate the supply enough, will we return? No, why would we deflate supply? Like the Ohm will not be deflationary in perpetuity, right? Like it's just sometimes that happens when there's a lot of inverse bonds, but it's like we will always have inflation. Not maybe 200k, right? But there will always be inflation, right, Potted?
SWB audio
I mean, there'll always be
capture
a level of
not
inflation.
registered.
There'll always be like a target rate of expansion. Yeah, I mean, I still don't love seeing people that are still interested in APY.
High APYs, right? Yeah.
Like it never. I mean, we've always bonded more than the reward rate. There's never like, I mean, right now it's a little bit different. But during the whole pump, we were selling a lot more bonds than we were inflating supply. So APY has never been a guaranteed way to earn money, like ever, in any of the growth stages of the protocol. It's always been counteracted, right? Whenever there's been, whenever your token is rebased for more, there's always been downward price pressure greater than or equal to what you've received. APY has never been a passive income.
Okay. I think that's a fair point. Someone is. This is now fucking on my dear devs. Someone really asked that. What are the plans for Olympus? Okay, let me ask you maybe. I think some questions are okay. It's so fun to read these. Okay, let's see. As I remember, Olympus has about 60 devs. Yeah, no, that those are people that were contributing to the code base. So we don't have 60 devs. I think we now have eight devs in total. There is also, of course, we have a lot of products, right? Like we have Olympus Pro. We were also we have some dev from Odyssey. We had people working on a lot of allocators for Treasury. We have, of course, the bond stuff. Like we have the Olympus GIF. Like there are a lot of things that were worked on. But now we have 8, and I think as we've said in this call, there are a lot of things that are still being worked on. Why are the key people of the DAO drastically reduce their social activity? I think that's just to do with basically keeping our heads down and work. Like when everything goes well, it's easy to be blasting on Twitter and saying we're the best protocol ever, and basically doing that champagne meme where you're doing the champagne everywhere, but you're basically third. Yeah. And also because there is this realization that we've seen it before, right? Like you have the Dannies of the world, Sifus, the Dokwans. You can be as blast on Twitter if you want, like boast on Twitter as you want. That won't help you. So that's also why we are not that active, I think. And also, this product should speak for itself. I think Sue said it best in one of his tweets that Omi should be like children. they shouldn't be hurt, right? Like people should come to own with the realization themselves that this is great, not because we say that it is. Why are there no new AMAs? Full jokes on you. What is this? For where is Zeus? He promised to be more active and now he just disappeared. I can promise you that he's still very active. Stupid shit posting doesn't count. That's the only thing that he has. Like I think this guy literally doesn't take any time off. Like he is he's just always in his head with O. What are your plans for the Olympus? Yeah, that's a very good question. I don't know. And 6, I see dead people. Okay, that's a very nice one. Good. Wonderful, wonderful. Copy pasta. I'm going to save that one. Okay, we're at the end of the hour. I wanted to thank Potted for coming on stage. Very nice of you. Always very smart answers and just in general. Enjoy having you here, sir. Drew, thank you for setting this up as always. Everyone here in the chats, I just love talking to you all. Yeah, I know that. I think you noticed that. It's just fun to have this.
SWB audio capture.
One,
Not registered.
One final thought is that we have 2 open OIPs on Snapshot. So anyone who hasn't gone to vote yet, please go and cast your vote. And I'm pretty sure everyone has seen this, but we got rid of the our OMI verification bot, and we put in a new channel that's a bit more robust and will allow you to get that verified OMI's role across all chains except for Phantom. It's the only one that's not supported. So you can go pick up your new color at the OMI verification channel up in it's up at the top. And yeah, vote on those OIPs.
Yeah, and like voting is important. So if you voted on any of the Olympus OIPs, you basically got the airdrop from Optimism as well. So like voting literally pays. Please do so, not just because you get something, but also because you just want to help help the protocol, right, and help govern it in the right way. So definitely do that. Thank you all for joining. It's super fun to talk to you as always, and have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.
Love you all.